this lecture, we will talk about using a function with a while loop. You can use a function with a while loop, and you can use a function with all the Python structures you have learned about so far. So for example, let's use the get format the name function with a while loop to greet the users more formally. Here is the first attempt at greeting people using their first and last names. So this is a function definition. The function called getFormatTheName, and two parameters called first name and the last name should be used inside the function. And in the function, we create a new variable called full name. And the full name is the string of first name with a space and concatenated with the last name's string. Then the function returns the full name's value with the title form. So next code is outside of the function is a while loop. So we use while true because while true is always true. While true is always true. So inside the block of the while loop, first print two messages, and then user will be prompted to input something, and the first input the user should input is first name. The user will see the prompt of first name, then will put his or her first name here, and next the user will see the message last name and will put his or her last name here. Then first name and the last name input the value will be stored into two variables called fName and inName. Then next is the calling getFormatTheName function, and the function is called, and the fName and the inName's value are the inputs of the function. Then the function will be run with these two values, and the return information will be returned to the formatted name here, because we use formatted name equals getFormatTheName function with the input value. So the function's return value will be assigned to this variable called formatTheName. The last will print message with the formatTheName. So this is one iteration inside while loop. Then we'll return to the while true, because while true is always true. So this kind of loop will be run infinitely. Never stop. So in the previous example, we use a simple version of getFormatTheName that doesn't involve middle name, and the while loop asks the user to enter their name, and we prompt for their first and last name separately. But there is one problem with this while loop. We haven't defined a quit condition, and the while loop will be run infinitely. We want the user to be able to quit as easily as possible, so each prompt should offer a way to quit. The break statement offers a straightforward way to exit the loop at either prompt. In the following example, we add a message that informs the user how to quit, and then we break out of the loop if the user enters the quit value at either prompt. So the program will continue greeting people until someone enters Q for either name. So this is the modified version of the previous example. So the definition of the function will be the same, with first name and last name are the parameters which will be used when function is being called, and the full name is a variable created inside the function is a local variable, and this local variable's value will be returned to the variable that calls the function. So the function definition is the same with no modification. Then the while loop, we add two if statements, conditional tests inside the while loop. So the while true, then print two information are the same. Please tell me your name and enter Q at any time to quit. This is the new one, enter Q at any time to quit. Then if name is the value with the user input value, first name. Then next is a if conditional test. So if full name equals Q, then the break will be run inside the if test if block. So if user input Q when he sees the prompt for first name, then the while loop will be stopped because we add break inside the if loop. So if the user enters his name and doesn't enter Q, so the if test will not be run. Then go to the I names. The user will be prompted to enter his or her last name, and the value will be stored in I names variable. And the same as here, we add with the if test for if the value of the last name the user input is Q, also will break the while loop, will stop it. So the only user does not enter Q in the first name and does not enter Q in the last name's prompt, the while loop will be run next. So normally if the user will not enter Q in these two prompts, then the formatted name will be created with function is being run, and the information for the input is user inputs the first name and last name. So after the printing information, then we'll go back to the while true, and then same as the first iteration, user will be prompted for input his or her first name and the last name. So this time, for example, if the user enters Q here, the while loop will be stopped. So we will show all these commands in Anaconda Spider. We go to lecture 5 using a function with a while loop. So here we write the modified version of the program with if test inside the while loop. So first we define the function for get formatted name with two parameters included, first name, last name. Then full name is a new variable inside the function created with the information including first name and the last name. Then we'll return these local variables title forms value, because full name is the local name inside the function, cannot be used outside of the function directly. So we must return its value, and then we start a while loop outside of the function. Start a while loop with while true, then print. We run this function first. Then for the while loop, print these two information first to ask the user to enter his first or last name. Then user see the prompt of first name, then he will enter his first name. Then if first name is Q, then the while loop will be stopped, because here is a break statement. Similarly, if the user does not enter Q in the first name, then after he has entered the first name, he will see the prompt for the last name. Then the same test, if the user enters a Q for his last name, the while loop will be stopped because here is a break statement. So only user does not enter Q in first name's prompt and not enter Q in last name's prompt, the while loop will be run next. Next then, formatted name is a variable with the value of the function's return value. Get formatted name is the function we defined here. So run this function, calling this function with the information for the first name and last name, and the return value of this function will be assigned to the formatted name. Then we can print the formatted name. Then go to the while loop again. Same, we'll see if the user has entered Q in first name or the last name's step. So we will run this while loop. Run. So please tell me your name. Enter Q at any time to quit. So first is the first name, Wilson. Last name, Lawson. Then to the printed hello Wilson Lawson. Then please tell me your name. We enter Q. Then the program stopped.